The controversy about musical lyrics and groups certainly has been around for a long time. The issue has heated up recently, but you can go back to the 50s and Alan Freed and Little Richard and Elvis Presley. But now people are really exercised about the lyrics contained in records and the messages coming forth in videos.
A voluntary labeling is not censorship. Censorship implies restricting access or suppressing content. This proposal does neither.
Should there be a rating system? The women you are looking at testifying at the Senate Commerce Committee hearing, very powerful women, that was Tipper Gore, wife of Senator Albert Gore, want a rating system in the least to be legislated toward the record industry. We've got a couple of people with us today who I don't think agree. Please welcome Gene Simmons from KISS and Ron Keel from Keel. Ron, let me ask you something. You wrote a lyric that went somewhat along the lines of either I'm going to do it my way or I'm not going to do it at all.
The Right to Rock. It's the title track from our first album, which Gene produced last year. And it's a very timely subject right now. It's in the song, the lyrics speak out for fighting for justice, fighting for the American way, because I really believe in this country. I believe in the foundation of freedom that's made this country great, and I don't want to see it infringed upon.
And he's running for office, and we'd like to announce that he sounds like an American to me. The lady that was on a little bit before us sounds very similar to some of the people that would have us all looking the same, talking the same, reading the same books, and if we don't agree with the same premise, then these books should not be on the shelf. And of course, see, the dangerous part here is, before we even get into it, pardon me for touching your knee here, is that if somebody is going to have the power to rate records or anything else, then books are the next thing to be rated. And the very first book that's going to be rated is the largest selling book of all time, the Bible. A lot of everybody's begetting everybody else. In case you don't know what that is,
We got it.
Okay. And it's a very violent book, so...
But now these women are suggesting, with the Parents Musical Resource Committee, they're saying, all we want to do is let people know what's in the album. We're not necessarily saying, stop what's in it, just people should be forewarned and forearmed.
Good. The basic premise of rock and roll is sex. I'm not going to stand on here and try to play games back and forth. Rock and roll, the term came from an old blues number called "Let Me Rock and Roll You All Night Long." The guy wasn't talking about sitting up and reading a book all night. The very premise of rock music is to get you excited. It's not meant to lull you, except for some wonderful hits in the past, one of which were yours. But it's meant to get you excited.
There are societies on the planet today who do regulate what the people listen to and buy, and those are communist societies. Those places like the Soviet Union, where you can't listen to what you want or play what you want or buy what you want.
Ron and Jean, let's go to the audience. Yes, ma'am, go ahead, please.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment along his lines. I don't think it should be censored either, although perhaps I don't agree with all of that. I think the sales, the minute you censor something, it boosts the sales, and you're calling attention right to the fact that of what you want censored. And perhaps they should have some sort of a rating, so maybe perhaps parents or grandparents would know what to buy their children or grandchildren. But as far as censoring, no.
You know, she really brought up a very good point. I think maybe what some of these well-intentioned people are trying to do is to become better parents. And so at least my suggestion is, if you're concerned about what your kids listen to, become better parents. Buy some of the records yourselves, get hip. Find out what it is that they're listening to. If you don't like what they're listening to, make sure they don't listen to it.
It's impossible not to turn to Debbie Boone, who certainly, whether you like it or not, is symbolic of a certain approach to music and life. What do you think about all this?
Well, you know, I don't have definite opinions at this point. I don't know that rating is an answer. I think there's a problem. I'm a parent, and I want to be a better parent. So I think about it a great deal, but I don't know who would be doing the rating. And if that would solve the problem, I agree with Gene that it's important for parents to take a real active interest in the kind of music their kids listen to and use it as an opportunity to discuss what's being said here. Is this what you want to be influenced by?
Donny Osmond made the comment on Nightline. He said, if you start rating the records, I won't sell a record. I'm going to have to stick things in there to make sure that I don't have a PG rating or a G rating. Kids are not going to buy records that don't have some tone of rebellion. to them?
I think it's all in the interpretation of it. Music is neither good nor bad. It's entertainment. It's like a knife. You can take it, you can cut butter with it, or you can stab someone with it. It's all the interpretation. And all the children aren't great. And I'll tell you, I've been on the road for 9 months on the Right to Rock tour, and I've seen hundreds of thousands of kids across the nation, and I don't see a real problem. I see a lot of good kids out there. There's a lot of good people, and there's a lot of good parents, because you're raising some good children. There's some bad apples in any bunch. And you can't make rock and roll a scapegoat for what's happening.
I'm telling you, he is the Vice President of the United States, yes. Ron Keel from Keel and Gene Simmons for KISS. I know how strongly you feel about this because you left the recording session to come over here to talk about it. It's an issue we're going to be hearing more and more about from all sides. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with the surprise from Mr. Mailbox. Mr. Mailbox.